Mr. Secretary General, thank you. As usual, we had a very constructive dialogue. I always enjoy visiting with the Secretary General. It gives us a chance to talk about our common interests and our desire for peace and liberty around the world. We had a good discussion on Sudan, particular emphasis on Darfur. I told the Secretary General that Mrs. Garang was in to see me the other day, and that we had a long discussion. She and I had a long discussion, not only about the Darfur region, but about implementing the North-South Accords, and I appreciate the Secretary's leadership on that issue. We talked about the broader Middle East, and there's a lot to talk about. I am very optimistic, however, that that democracy and liberty will prevail, and so I want to thank you for your interest in leadership on those particular issues. We talked about UN reform, structural reform, management reform, as well as the reform of the Human Rights Commission. I was most interested in the Secretary General's thoughts. I appreciate very much his leading on these issues, and we will continue to work closely through Secretary Bolton, Ambassador Bolton, with the Security Council and the United Nations. And so, Mr. Secretary General, thanks for coming. It's always a pleasure to welcome you here to the Oval Office. And the floor is yours.
No, thank you very much, Mr. President. I also enjoy our periodic exchanges, and I'm very happy that we have agreed to work together on the Darfur issue, working with other governments from Europe, from Asia, and other regions to ensure that we do have an effective security presence on the ground to protect the IDPs and ensure that humanitarian workers have access to those in need. And of course, this is an issue where all governments have to play their role. On security, on the UN reform and Human Rights Council, I think the President and I agree that we need to reform the Human Rights Council, and should be done as soon as possible. The President of the General Assembly, Jan Eliasson, is working very hard to ensure that we will have that done by this month, and that when the Human Rights Commission meets in Geneva, it will be in the process of transformation. It will not be business as usual. And I also thank the President for all the support he's given us on UN reform, on the broader UN reform, and there are quite a lot of things that we're going to do. We also discussed the Middle East and the Hamas elections and the need for transformation of Hamas into a political party along the lines that the quartet had discussed. And I think there is an opportunity here for Hamas to transform itself into a political party and work with the international community and the Israeli government. We also touched on the issue of the nuclear issue of Iran, and here again I hope between now and the time the Atomic Agency issues its next report, there will be indications and steps from the Iranian side to indicate that negotiations are not dead, and that both sides can come back to the table and find a way out of this crisis. We need to be able to resolve it, and I hope there will be no steps taken to escalate the situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.